okay, go and have a shower while I get Sammy ready. Lana skipped to the bathroom to get ready.
Hello and welcome to Represented Podcast, Storybooks and More for African Kids. My name is, of course, Toye Falugi Ekezie, and I'm your host on today's episode. But there will be no Ugo today. He will join us soon. On this podcast, we shine a light on the amazing children's content out there by African authors and content makers. Our guest today is author and powerhouse Mrs. Chioma Momah. Let me tell you a little bit about her. She's a lawyer, chartered arbitrator, and public policy strategist. Big time. She is also an author of several children's books, such as First Day at the Big School, and also creates content and writes for several academic journals and publications, such as Parenting in Style and Today's Woman, TW for short. She's an avid blogger and contributes to several online platforms such as Bella Naija, Huffington Post, as well as her own blog, Chioma.net. That's CHIOMAH.net. Now, without further ado, actually there is further ado, let me not lie, we're taking a break right now, but we'll get to meet her right after. Stay tuned. I'm Toye Falugi Ekezie, and if you're enjoying this episode of Represented Podcast Storybooks and More for African Kids, brought to you by Simone's Oasis and Africa Business Radio, why not listen to our other podcast, Special Moms Africa? Real talk on special needs parenting. Don't forget to put on your notifications, like, and enjoy. Okay, we're back, and let's meet Mrs. Chioma Momah. Hi, Chioma.
Hello.
Thanks so much for coming on the show. So let's get stuck in. For listeners out there, it was through my children I became familiar with Chioma Momah because we went to a bookstore in 2019, and her book First Day at the Big School was one of the first Nigerian books I ever bought for my kids. So Chioma, why and how did you get started as an author?
Good question. I think for many Nigerian authors, they have similar stories. I couldn't find children's books that had Nigerian names, Nigerian faces, Nigerian food, or anything Nigerian. And my children, everything was about treacle pudding and, and going out in the woods, which we don't really do. Mm-hmm. And I was like, okay, I'm looking for something that, yes, we all want to read books from all over the world. That's fantastic. But I also wanted something relatable so my children could see themselves in the books as well. So I said, okay, you know what? Since I can't find those books, I might as well write one for my children. So I started out writing for my own children specifically. Mm-hmm. And the response was amazing. It was obviously a gap that needed to be filled, and I was happy to be one of those people who would help fill that gap.
You're so right. That does seem to be a common thread amongst our Nigerian authors. Were your children the guinea pig? Did you do tweaks and then read the story to them and have them feedback?
Well, not really. I guess because of how old they were at the time, but all the stars, I used their names, so they know that this person is me, that person is her.
Oh, that's
and this
wonderful.
Is him. So I used them, for the stories, and I just hoped that they would like them. So of course I was really pleased when, even beyond my children, other children as well, mm-hmm. did enjoy the stories.
So how do you get the ideas for your books? What inspires you?
Oh, my life, and First Day at the Big School, for instance, that was my earliest childhood memory. One of my earliest, when I had to transit from nursery school to primary school, and I was traumatized, to say the least. Because in nursery school, the school I went to, when you were tired, you go to your, and say, oh, I'm tired, I want to sleep, and they would allow you to sleep because we're little children, weren't we? And they were so kind, and they used to baby us so much. So you can imagine my shock when I got to primary school and I was like, oh, I'm tired. And my teacher was like, okay, go and sit down now. You know, I was like, huh? So I felt like my babyhood was over. And I wish something had prepared me for that big, you know, oh, I'm not a big kid. I'm not a big child. You know, so no more siestas in the middle of, you know, class. And so I said, oh, you know, I'm sure for a lot of children, it can't just be me that had that, you know, that switch and had to adjust to that transition without any preparation. So I said, okay, why not tell a story of children, of a child transiting from early years to, you know, to primary school and all the, you know, the emotions that they face.
Yes.
All the fears. For some children, they have to change school. They have to, you know, meet, you know, a completely new set of children.
Yes.
For some, even if it's the same school, it's a completely different setup. You know, why don't I write something that can... So my stories are from a lot of things that I have experienced, my children have experienced. And of course, they are fictionalized, but, you know, the inspiration is from my life.
And I think those are always the best books, when there's a basis in some reality, something that's happened, and then the author takes that to which to build a fictional story around, because it just makes it more authentic.
I totally agree. It does, because you know that this is something that can happen. You're not just bringing it up from nowhere. It's and to be honest, you find that way that a lot of other people can relate to it more when it's something that's inspired from your life.
I absolutely love that. So we have more questions for you. But let's introduce our listeners to the book we're going to read today. And that is called First Day at the Big School. We have mentioned it already. Enjoy this, listeners. It's a wonderful story by Chioma Momah.
So as the first rays of sunshine kept through the window, Lana jumped out of bed. It's morning, she shrieked with joy. She had woken up an hour earlier at 5 a.m., but her mom shooed her back to bed. Darling, I know you're excited, but it's not quite morning.
This time, Lana was sure it was morning and raced to her parents' room, where she saw her mom nursing her 5-month-old baby brother, Sammy. He always seemed to be eating. Sammy Bobo, Lana cooed to her brother as she lovingly smiled at him. Lana's dad was getting ready for work. Lana quickly said, "Good morning, Mommy and Daddy. Can I get ready for school?"
Lana, you're really a big girl, said her mom, smiling. I usually wake you up for school. Okay, go and have a shower while I get Sammy ready. Lana skipped to the bathroom to get ready.
Lana was starting her first day in grade 1 at St. James's Primary Section, also called the Big School. And she was so excited to finally be going to school there. She would no longer wear her stay-at-home clothes and could now wear the nice uniform all the big girls wore. She could start swimming classes, play on the big playground, and eat at the new cafeteria. You see, everything about the big school was larger and nicer than at the nursery section, and she just could not wait. Lana sat in the back seat next to Sammy, who was a bit jumpy in his car seat.
But as they arrived at the gate of the school, Lana's excitement turned into fear. In the big school, unlike the nursery section, parents dropped their children off at the entrance. Mommy, she stuttered. What if I don't have any friends in my class? What if my teacher doesn't like me? What if? Her mom turned back and smiled. My princess, who wouldn't love to have a wonderful child like you in their class? Your teacher will love you and you will make friends. I promise. Don't worry, since it's your first day, I will walk you in.
Lana was relieved, but still unsure about whether she could be able to find a friend. Carrying Sammy in one hand and holding Lana's hand in the other, Lana's mom took her to find her new class, Grade 1 Heron. As they entered the building, the head teacher, Mrs. Ugunkenu, said to everyone in her cheerful voice, "Welcome, children, welcome." More
than half of them were children she knew from the nursery section. There was Gloria, the twins Omo and Odion, Sendo, Chioma, and Indifreke, who was actually her best friend. The other children didn't look familiar, but they were all wearing their name tags. The tall boy with glasses was Jeremy. The chubby one with a kind smile was Daniel. And there was a girl with short hair called Tega. Then there was her teacher, Mrs. Perrin, a lovely lady with curly short hair.
Mrs. Perrin had the sweetest smile, and as soon as she saw Lana, she beamed from ear to ear. And you must be Lana. Welcome to grade 1. Lana smiled right back and whispered to her mom, Mommy, I think I'm going to like it here.
The first few lessons were a lot of fun. Big school is not so hard, said Lana to herself. Then at 11 o'clock, the bell rang for break and playtime. Lana went to the big playground with Mayan and met some other girls who were in the other grade 1 class. Their names were Lara, Bena, Hassana, and they all played together for a little while.
As they played, Lana noticed a girl with long blonde hair standing alone by the hopscotch squares. The girl looked sad, and Lana understood how she was feeling. Lana left her friends and said, Hello, I'm Lana. What's your name? She said, Iona. Come play with us, Iona.
The girls chatted happily with Iona. She had just moved to Nigeria with her mom and dad from Belfast, a town in Ireland. Soon they decided to play a game of hide and seek. It was a bit hard to play hide and seek in the big playground because they didn't have all the fun places to hide, like on the small playground, places like the Wendy house, the slippery slides, and the barrels. So they just had good fun running around.
After playtime, they had a few more lessons, and then it was 2 o'clock, and time to go home. Lana waved bye to her friends as she ran out to meet her mummy. She was tired, but she had such a lovely day. She learned, she played, and best of all, she made new friends. The end. Such a lovely book, Chioma.
Awesome, thank you.
So, that's not your only book title. Could you tell our listeners what other titles you have?
Okay, so after first day at the big school, I had an interesting experience because I had planned to write one book, but now I've written others. Like you noticed, so I've written Fun Trip to the Village, which highlights, a trip to the village to the east, going to visit, family,
Fantastic.
Over a holiday, and then Fun Day at the museum, where the children in Lana's class go to a museum and they learn all sorts of things about Nigeria and its rich history and culture.
It's absolutely wonderful. So essentially, you've created a series around these characters, and what I love about them is not only are they just wonderful stories, but the illustrations too are absolutely beautiful. So listeners, you have to get these books. They're well written, they're well illustrated, and for parents out there, they're just a great way of communicating certain, issues or matters in a way that's digestible for children and easy for children to understand. Now, Chioma, you're also a founding member of ACANE. Can you tell us what that is?
ACANE is this amazing association of children's authors in Nigeria, and not just authors, but also the illustrators who illustrate these beautiful books. And most children's authors in Nigeria will admit that when you start writing here, we have the same issues. We're looking for illustrators, we're looking for just all sorts of resources to help us on our journey, and it can be a bit arduous. So ACANE was set up to help the children's author in Nigeria of Nigerian descent, to help us put these resources together, to give us the support we need, so that others who are coming behind us don't have as much
difficulty and headache.
Difficulty. Yeah. So that is. So we have all sorts of activities. We have book readings. We have workshops. There's one that's planned to hold in Abuja soon. We've had several in Lagos. We've had a lot of things. some things are mostly online, which just so more people all over the world can join in and learn. We have free events, we have paid events as well, and it's been a worthwhile journey. And honestly, I wish I had an association like Arcane when I was.
Me too.
And yeah, honestly, so it's just such an honor and a pleasure to be part of it, and to be able to help those who are on this journey as well.
Yeah. So for those authors out there already and aspiring authors, the illustrators out there already and aspiring illustrators, that's the Association of Children Authors and Illustrators of Nigeria, and you can find them on social media. I think the handle's official Arcane.
Yes.
And Chioma, unfortunately, that's all we have time for. Can you let our listeners know? I know. Let them know where to find your books and also your social media handles.
Okay, thank you, Tony. I really had a good time. So my books are available on Amazon, and then also you can go to Roving Heights. They're physical stores, or contact them online. You can order all my books there. And also, you can also contact me personally. My name is Chioma Momah, like you know. My social media handles, Instagram, YouTube, everywhere, Chioma Momah, CHIOMAH. MOMAH. That's Chioma Momah, all written together. And my website is also www.chiomamomah.com. And there are more books coming your way. I'm working on 2 right now. I can't wait to have you read them. So please feel free to
so excited.
Anytime.
Thank you so much.
I've been working so hard, so hopefully everyone will, I can't wait to share them with everyone.
We can't wait to read them. Thank you so much for all you do. We appreciate you, and we've just loved having you on the show today. Now, listeners, that's it. My name is Toye Falogi Ekezie. This, of course, has been Represented Podcast, Storybooks and More for African Kids. You can find us at Simone's Oasis on social media and YouTube and all that good stuff. Until the next time, bye-bye. For sponsorship inquiries, you can DM us at Simone's Oasis on social media or send an email to hello@simones-oasis.com.